So, next up we have one of the most infamous games for PS2. This is Contra Shattered Soldier. So this was the 3D revival of Contra on the PlayStation, and it's notorious because number one, it's hard as balls. It's so difficult, it's unnecessarily difficult. It also had an absurd number of secret endings and secret bosses, and each of the bosses were even more insane than the next. Just this game was bonkers, and to a degree that didn't need to exist. And also, it didn't really work on PlayStation. This disc was infamous for not actually working because I don't know if you guys remember these, and you could probably see. You might be wondering, hey, why is there a bunch of tape on this disc? This is the only way this game worked. This is one of these games, the blue ones. And the blue discs, the PS2 had a really, really hard time reading them. And one of the fixes was just adding tape to it, right? To give it a little more, make it a little fatter, because these are really, really thin. And so it was kind of a crapshoot whether or not your PS2 was going to play it. But, I mean, I love Contra, but this game is, it's too hard to be fun. It is too difficult to be fun, and too difficult to say, yes, play this one. There is a sequel, and that one's actually much more player-friendly, which is right here. So, the sequel was called Neo Contra, right? And Neo Contra was actually really different than all the other Contras because it had more of an isometric feel, which is very not seen in the Contra genre. It also had 3 selectable weapons at all times. So this game didn't have you getting new weapons, which is very different for Contra. And you always had your weapons at all the times, and then you could sort of make them more powerful. This version, like I said, it's better only in the sense that it's easier, and you're not as frustrated playing it. So if I had to recommend the two, this one would be the one I would recommend you, Neo Contra. Next up, another iToy game. This is iToy Play 2, and same theme here. None of these games worked. None of them. These were all garbage, and I hope I didn't pay a lot of money for these iToy games because they are just awful. Speaking of awful, Rygar. Rygar is a super old game that Tecmo revived on the PS2 and the Xbox version of it, and it was kind of like God of War before God of War was God of War, but God of War out God of War to this game. And as a result, this game is just there, and it's kind of bad. Not even kind of bad. This game is bad. It's not very good. This is a thumbs down. Rygar is bad. It's called Rygar the Legendary Adventure. If God of War didn't exist, Rygar would probably be better. Unfortunately, God of War does exist, and it's not as good. All right, brought out a couple of them here. Track Pack Volume 1 for Rock Band. This one includes 30 Seconds to Mars, 9 Inch Nails, Paramore, again another song by The Police, Boston, Kiss, The Hives, Weezer, Leonard Skinner. This is a win. This is what DLC was like before DLC existed. Right? There was no online back in the day. Well, there was, but it was super prohibited. Rock Band Track Pack Volume 1 is, yes, this is a win, right? This is a win right here. Next up, a GTA clone called Total Overdose: A Gunslinger's Tale in Mexico. This game is Grand Theft Auto for people who couldn't afford Grand Theft Auto, I guess. This game is stupid, and I mean that in an okay way. It's dumb. It's dumb fun. And it is pretty fun, because it's Grand Theft Auto, just in Mexico. So, I would recommend it. If you never played it, I would recommend you try out Total Overdose. It's stupid, but I do mean that in a very positive way. Here, speaking of stupid, though, Devil May Cry 2. Devil May Cry 2 is dumb in the dumb way. I mean that in every single way that can possibly hurt this game. No, it is absolutely not cooler than hell. I think going to hell would actually be better than playing this game, to be honest with you. This game also had 2 protagonists, as you can see from the front and the back. You could play as Dante, and then you could play as Lucia on disc 2. And the reason that was, terrible is because Lucia's adventure was just Dante's adventure, but shorter. It was so bad. And this game is just boring. It's all about guns, and they de-emphasize the need to actually engage in combat because you could just shoot everyone to death because they were so overpowered. I will admit though that because I love Devil May Cry, I did play through it as Dante. I did play through it as Lucia, and then the main reason I did that is because if you do that, you get to play as a secret character from Devil May Cry 1, Trish, who includes Dante's dad's sword, Sparta. So, but not worth it. No, that's like a 1 out of 10. Don't do it to yourselves. Here's an interesting one. We Love Katamari. This game is super weird. It's about rolling a ball and collecting as many weird objects as you can. You know what? I bought it I think for my wife, and she hated it. She did not enjoy this, and realistically, I didn't either. I'm not the target audience for We Live Katamari. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just for me. This is a no for me. But it's not terrible if you're into that super weird shit, right? Which I'm not. So We Love Katamari. I'm gonna not really talk too much about that. Now here, this is actually a really good game, and this is the only Mortal Kombat that I actually own, because I was old enough to own it, and my parents didn't know about it. Hopefully they're not watching this video. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. People love this game, and Ed Boon was actually on Twitter recently asking if a sequel or a revival of this game was had any interest from anybody, and everybody was like, yes, we want it. We don't really want to see it, but we want this game remastered. It was really good. Geez Louise, it had so much more. I think these are codes, because it's a Mortal Kombat game. So those are codes. This is back in the day when games had instruction booklets and stuff. It's pretty crazy. But this was 2 players. You played as the titular Shaolin monks, Kung Lao and Liu Kang. And the only thing I didn't like about this is that if you did play multiplayer, 2-player mode, there was a shared life bar. Other than that, I thought this game was amazing. So just because of that, I'll give it an 8. But if you had your own life bar, this would easily be a 10. Amazing puzzles, amazing secrets. Shaolin Monks deserves to exist in other ways. Either part 2 or remaster, prequel, something. We need more Shaolin Monks. And I don't really even like Mortal Kombat like that, I'm just saying it because it deserves to be said. Alright. Next up, Justice League Heroes. This was released around the same time that... Why does that look like John Cena? Isn't that crazy? The same time that Marvel Ultimate Alliance was. They were both being made around the same time. This was made, believe it or not, by Snowblind Studios, right, which have gone on to make quite a number of things. It's bad. It's really, really bad. It's not a good game. Mainly because in the beginning of the game, there's 3 acts, right? So in Act 1, you were forced to use specific characters, so you can't even express your own individuality. And then in Act 3, you can start choosing your own characters, but this game had the stupid idea that, hey, if you don't play with this character, you're not going to level them up. So if you tried to switch characters like I did at the end of the game, you were so underleveled, and there was no way for you to go back and change that. And also, I see it here in the middle here. It had this weird orb system, and that orb system is the only reason I beat the game, because there's a code you could input to create orbs of specific kinds and sort of break the system. That's the only reason I beat it. This game is hard as shit, and just like I said, it's not very good. But they did go on to make DC Universe Online, which is still going today. Right, I played it last year. This game is still going. Justice League Heroes, though, that's a no. That is not a good game at all. Fuck me, I love this game. Rumble Roses. I'm gonna copy this game as well. Rumble Roses was a wrestling game developed by, and it was published by Konami. I want to say AKI. I don't see them on here at all, though. That or they just ripped the combat system straight from Here Comes the Pain. And it's all women. And there's like, as you can see, there are mud matches and like lingerie matches. And there's a full-on story mode. There is a part 2 that is an Xbox exclusive, which made me really, really sad. But I loved Rumble Roses. I was a teenager. I was a very horny teenager. Sue me. I loved it. This is 10 out of 10. I'm gonna burn it. We're gonna play it on the channel. This is something. Oh, here's another Onimusha. This is Onimusha Dawn of Dream. No, sorry. This is Onimusha Demon Siege. This is part 3 with a great Jean Reno. And also, the person who plays Samanosuke in this game is Takeshi Kaneshiro. Sorry about butchering your name. But this was like, full-on motion acted and everything. And as you can see, their likeness is in there. Unfortunately, Jean Reno is not really in this game. He's in like the cutscenes, but not really in it at all. But it was great. It was the first one in 3D in terms of like full-on camera control. And this game's fantastic. This is the best Onimusha. You know what? I can't even say that with a straight face. I'm not even sure. It was a very good Onimusha. I'm not sure if it's the best one. I really loved part 2. And I really like part 4. They're all so good, guys. Play them all. Here's Onimusha 3. And then we have another track pack. This is Rock Band Classic Rock. This one includes Boston, a couple Boston songs. The Dead Kennedys are on here. Again, the Popo, the Police. Steve Miller Band is here. The Stone Roses, the Who, another Police. Lenny Kravitz is on it. I don't think I knew any of these songs. This is probably my least favorite, just because I didn't really know the songs. But more Rock Band was good because it's more Rock Band. So I don't hate it. This is the last one of this pile. Oh man, Street Fighter EX3. This was the best EX game, but that's 0+0+0. This looks horrible. All the characters are trash. It does include Skullomania though, so that's like an automatic win. I did actually like this game though. It's weirdly charming in a like this sucks sort of way, but there's so many worse games out there. And this was made by Akira, right? Or they designed some of these characters or something like that. So it's Street Fighter EX3. I'm gonna give it a thumb. It just gets 1 thumb out of 10. iToy Kinetic. I really wanted this to work because I was a chubby teenager. This did not work, right? Unfortunately, I tried. I really, really did. It didn't work. Solid idea to get, to like say, yeah, let's. It didn't work. Here it is, one of the greatest superhero games of the era, Spiderman II. Everybody knows why Spiderman II was so great, right? It had an open world. You could swing in New York City. Obviously, Insomniac Spider-Man did this better, but of course it had access to better technology, so for its time, this is like a 12 out of 10. Easy. 12 out of 10. No doubt about it at all. Here's the sequel I was talking about to Maximum Impact. They actually decided to call it King of Fighters 2006. Funny or not, this is actually the final King of Fighters to have a year in the title. But this is actually King of Fighters Maximum Impact 2, also known as the King of Fighters 2006. Shit ton of characters. It says 38, but it ended up being way more than that. They did introduce Kula. There's a parry mode. There's mini games. So many characters. It runs like absolute dog crap on PS2. It was pushing it to the absolute limit, but I loved it. This is the pinnacle of 3D King of Fighters fighting. I would highly recommend this one. Highly recommend it. Oh, here's a deep cut. Geo Battle Coliseum. This is actually not released in the West. This is a Japanese only game. It does have English everything, right? So I did have to import this. And as a collector's item, it's fantastic, right? So this was basically, gosh, what was it? Capcom was doing the same thing. They were making their own version of this sort of, mashup where they were putting all their most popular characters together. And I believe theirs ended up being called Capcom Fighting Jam, also known as Capcom Fighting Evolution in Japan, I believe, which is a much better name. But Geo Battle Coliseum, those are the new characters there at the top. It put everybody together, right? It had the King of Fighter characters, it had Art of Fighting characters, it had Metal Slug characters, Samurai Shodown characters, and it was 2-on-2 tag. A bunch of hidden characters as well. As you can see, Athena there in her battle mode, so not really the one from KOF, from her game instead. If you have this, then you're cool, right? Because again, you had to import this. That's a win just to collect it. And here it is. My favorite PS2 game of all time. This is it right here. This is Okami. I absolutely love Okami. I have a giant plush of Okami. There aren't enough words in the English or Spanish dictionary to express how much I love Okami. I will love it till I die. I would love to be buried with this game. There are many versions of it nowadays, right? They've HD remastered this like 70 times, and I hope they continue to do it. This was made by Clover Studios. It's 100 out of 10. It is the greatest game I have ever played on my PS2, and I love it so absolutely much. It got me through a very difficult time in my life, and that's probably why I attribute so much admiration and affection towards it. But it was just a really good game, right? It's an epic adventure. He plays a dog with a bunch of weapons. Probably the worst thing about this game, especially trying to play it now, is that you can't skip cutscenes and nobody talks a real language. It's like, which is super annoying. I will give you that one. But Okami, like I said, it's a 10 out of 10. 100 out of 10. You cannot get higher than Okami. Okami is the greatest game, for me, of the PS2 era. So, suck on that. We're getting to the end here of this box. There's a bunch of batteries in this box for some reason. That's interesting. All right, what do we got here? The original Onimusha. So this is Onimusha Warlords. This is the first one. This also plays like a tank. This was another Resident Evil that turned into a different game. This is a really good game. You could play as two different characters. Mostly Samanosuke, but you can also play as Katie. Katie's right here. I say Katie, but I don't know if it's Katie or Kaede. But this started the whole thing for Onimusha. And it's like, this was remastered and re-released. I'm shocked, honestly, that we haven't done anything. When I say we, I mean Capcom. Hasn't done anything with Onimusha since number 4, which is an absolute flabbergasting thing to think about. But would recommend, do recommend. Here's Onimusha 2. Samurai's Destiny, so a completely different set of characters. Even bigger game than part 1. So much scope, right? It had like 4 playable characters. Had like this cool buddy system. It had a gifting system, right? So if you wanted to go out with this girl or be like super good friends with her, you absolutely could. Jubei Yagyu is the hero in this one, and he's still fighting Nobunaga. This one's really good. So if part 1 is a win, this is an absolute win, right? So now we've seen Onimusha 1, 2, we've seen 3, we've seen Blade Warriors. So we're only missing 1 Onimusha in my box. It should be here somewhere. Midnight Club 2. I know my channel doesn't do well with racers. Hopefully that changes in the future. But Midnight Club is great because you can play on bikes. It's one of the first games to ever have bikes in it. And I mean, as just a racing game, this is it. This was fantastic, right? As an arcade racer, right? Otherwise, you're playing Gran Turismo. But this right here, this was so good. I love this. I still remember the code. It's Green Lantern. Unlimited Nitrous. Midnight Club, that's a win. Easy win. So here's a game that I wanted to burn. One of the reasons I even did this in the first place. I'm bringing all these out here. That's going to be Champions of Norath. Champions of Norath, I was talking to my brother about this. It was ahead of its time. It really, really was. This is a Diablo type game, right? Also from the makers of Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, which is, obviously one of the greatest action RPGs of all time. They went ahead and made Champions of Norrath, which did take advantage, as you can see here, again, by Snowblind. Sony Online, right? It had online in PS2 era. It didn't work. It was super, super unreliable, but 4-player action, you could be a different race. This is Dungeons & Dragons, right? But better. So, yeah, Champions of Norrath, this is one of the reasons I wanted to do this, because I'm going to burn this. So, Champions of Norrath is yes. Then it had a sequel, Champions of Norrath 2. Now, I don't remember playing this. I remember buying it, right? I absolutely bought it, as you can see. It does exist. Here's the receipts. Most of the time I did actually keep the receipts. Here, I'm reading this. You can still read this. I bought this in June of 2007. I thought that's actually not that bad. For $30. So, if you can see that, you probably can't see that, but, $30. I don't think I ever played it. I don't have a save on my PS2 memory card for Champions of Norrath 2. So, essentially, Champions of Norrath 2 is more Champions of Norrath. Very little changed. Very, very little. You can actually import your original character. There are 2 new races in here. But otherwise, this is just more of the same. So, yeah, Champions of Norrath. I'm not going to burn that one, though. Then we have the best Devil May Cry on PS2, and that's going to be Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening Special Edition. This was special because you could play as Virgil, which was great. You could play as Virgil. It had a new Jester boss enemy. It had a very hard mode, a new turbo mode, and a bunch of other crap. This is actually a prequel to Devil May Cry 1. Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition, 10 out of 10. God of War 2, the greatest hack and slash game for PS2, God of War 2. It's actually a 2-disc set. I'm not even sure why there are 2 discs. Here, let's look. God of War Disc 1, and then whatever this is. I'll put this back in here. This is special features. What are the special features of this? Close this up. Special features are, you can't read that, but it says deleted levels, voices, music, and bringing it to life. This took everything that made 1 so good and just made it better. You were already the God of War here. You had to fight what's her face. You had to go. Yeah, no, this is good. I'm not even gonna spoil it for you. I'm gonna spoil a 76-year-old game. Oh my God, there's more. There are so many more games there. Oh, I did have it. The original Rock Band. So this is the one that started it all. I had all the Rock Bands. I did not have any of the Guitar Heroes. So, you had the drums, the vocals, the guitar, the bass, the songs. Yes, Rock Band. Like I said, 10 out of 10. I loved it. I wish I still had my instruments. I really, really do. I'm really pissed off at my wife. Blood Rain. Blood Rain. Let's be honest. This was a game. She probably deserves that, honestly. This was a game about a vampire with big tits who was sucking people. That's really all they were trying to do with it. Not a good game. It's super ugly. Very glitchy, very buggy, very shitty. This is not a good game. Blood Rain 2 looks so much better. Plays so much better. Still a shitty game, though. I will never want people to play either of these games. They're bad. I did not like any of them. It looks way better, though. Oh, man, here we go. The Bouncer. Another game that I bought like 3 times. As you can see, the last time I did, I bought it used. The Bouncer, oof, man, look at the way this kid is dressed. This is peak Squaresoft. This was even before, as you can see, before they were Square Enix. They made The Bouncer, which is really, as you see, it says it right there, play the action movie. You are going to play a movie because there are a shit ton of cutscenes, and this is meant to be an interactive movie. It's not really a game, but I bought it 3 times, so I'll let you decide whether or not I enjoyed it. Oh, damn. Capcom versus SNK 2. Mark of the Millennium 2001. This is the year we make contact. I fucking love this game. 100 out of 10. This is up there with Okami for me in terms of like, yes, more of this, please. I already have it on my PS3, but I have the classic version, so my save doesn't work, so I might actually burn this version. It's very, very small. So I might burn this version just so I have all my characters, because I have a bunch of different colors, and I've unlocked all the characters. I did everything in this game. I loved it so much. So Capcom, makers of Street Fighter, and SNK did a crossover. This is part 2 of the crossover. It's just so good, right? Characters everywhere. It's oh god, it's so good. It's so good. 100 out of 10. Chaos Legion. Chaos Legion is very interesting because I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people hate Chaos Legion because it masqueraded as Devil May Cry when it was in fact a Musou game. You controlled a bunch of weird things. They're called Legion, right? Chaos Legion. And they're basically like helpers that help you mow down the hundreds of enemies that are on screen. There's no like performance issues. Like this game actually did have hundreds of enemies on screen, and it wasn't Musou, and people didn't realize it was a Dynasty Warriors type game, and they thought it was Devil May Cry because it says there, if you love Devil May Cry, you'll like it. That's an absolute fabrication. If you like Devil May Cry, you would absolutely hate Chaos Legion. And most people did hate Chaos Legion. It was exceptionally difficult because this, alongside the original Devil May Cry 3, when they released here, they released in Japanese difficulty mode, which essentially our normal mode was their hard mode, and our hard mode was their like stupid you're gonna die forever mode. So playing this on normal was absurdly difficult, absolutely difficult. But I liked it. I really did. I would actually play a remaster of Chaos Legion. So I liked it. Most everyone I know hates Chaos Legion. But yeah. So we're done with the box, but I did find a couple more PS3 games over here in my desk. Over there. So we're going to go through these as well. We've got, the sequel, Castlevania Curse of Darkness. This is the Castlevania for PS2 era that I highly recommend. Absolutely. This is so good. The reason this is so good is because you can create, like, I think they're called Little Devils or something like that. This one had, Innocent Devils. So you are a Devil Forge Master. This is, if you've seen the cartoon on Netflix, this is Hector, right? So it's the same Hector, the Forge Master, Devil Forge Master. And so basically these Innocent Devils are Pokemon. That's all you need to know. This is Castlevania mixed with Pokemon. It's so good. Oh my god, it's so good. And there's so many different type of weapons and so many different types of monsters that you can make. Lament of Innocence was okay. This one's so good. Also had a bunch of hidden characters that you can play as. This was the best one. Highly recommend that version. My tower of games is going to fall over. Let me show you what I'm building over here. So those are the games. There's iToy games over there. Nobody wants those, right? All right. Next, here it is. Number 4, Onimusha: Dawn of Dreams. This is a completely new character. Spoiler alert: Samanosuke is in this game. But this is Dawn of Dreams. This is Onimusha 4. This one, I loved it because it was actually 2 players, straight up. But you could play as additional characters, and you could switch at any time. So you always had like 2 characters at a time, and actually in the finale, you play as every single character. And it's a wide variety of characters, right? You've got a gunner, you've got like a hand-to-hand boxer. Of course, you got Samanosuke as well. Yes, I love it. Onimusha 4, Dawn of Dreams, is super different than all the other Onimushas, though. Super different. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I really, really did. So, that's that. Here we are. Let's run over you guys. We're X-Men Legends 2, Rise of Apocalypse. I'm actually playing this. So I started this on the channel, geez, like a year ago, maybe 2 at this point. It's been a very long time. And I switched over to the PSP version because it has additional characters, because I've played this version 177 million times. But again, part 1 is really, really good. Part 2 is so much better, guys. This is good. Mainly because it's more freedom, right? Part 1 is like very rigid. Very, very rigid. This one gave you a lot more freedom. You could also play as bad guys. You're going up against Apocalypse. You know, if you haven't seen it on my channel, please go watch it. It's yes. That is X-Men Legends 2, and this is it right here. Ultimate Alliance. Once Ultimate Alliance dropped, holy crap, did things change. Again, it was X-Men Legends, but with Marvel characters, like all of them. So many cool characters. The X-Men were in here. There were some X-Men. There were over 140 characters in the game in terms of, like, you know, villains and heroes and all that. It was great. It had like 12 different endings, which it is touted as, oh, so many different endings. They weren't real endings. They were like pictures. But I mean, what other game can you play as Captain America, Blade, Spider-Man, and Wolverine, right? So this was really, really cool. Fun fact, I own this for PS2. I own it for PSP. I own it for PS3. And guess what? I actually own it for PS4. So did I like the Ultimate Alliance? You bet your fucking ass I did. You betcha. The original Beautiful Jout. Again, super, super difficult. I'm actually, you know what? I don't know whether or not to burn this one or the sequel. Maybe the sequel, just because you can play Sylvia. Look, this one actually had Dante from Devil May Cry. Yeah, no, Beautiful Joe's great. They're both fantastic games. Play them. Please play them. I'm missing some games. I'm missing X-Men Legends 2. It's not X-Men Legends, sorry. I'm missing Ultimate Alliance 2. I don't have it for this. That's weird. Oh, Hulk Ultimate Destruction. This is the best Hulk video game of all time. It is one of the ugliest freaking games you'll ever see. But in terms of fun, holy shiitake mushroom, guys. This game is stupid fun. It's so fun. Oh my god. Before, like, Spiderman II gave you the freedom of running around a city, swinging around a city, and just doing things. The Hulk game did the same thing for the Hulk. Oh my god, like, I can't even express to you how good this game is. They tried to redo it. I think the game is actually called The Incredible Hulk, and it's bad. Like, it literally took the same model, and they were like, let's just, you know, make it for PS3 or whatever. It's shitty. When you compare it to this masterpiece, yes, it looks like dog crap, but it plays like freaking gold, right? Highly recommend you track this down and play it. Hulk Ultimate Destruction is so good. So good. So good. Alright, I only have one game left, I believe, and I have to go get it. It's over there. I'll be right back. Okay, this is it. This is the final game from my PS2 collection, and it is King of Fighters 11. So this came out after 2003. So 2003 was technically King of Fighters 10. And, oh god, I love it so much. This was so good. And the home version had so many more characters. It had exclusive characters. You can see Mai was in it, EX Kyo, Tufuru, sorry. So many characters. 47 to be exact. This one had like full-on tag teaming, quick shift, saving shift, dream cancels. It had a bunch of systems going on. It was maybe a little over-engineered, I won't lie to you. But it was so fun. It had so many characters. Ash is still in this one. Oswald. Fuck, this game was amazing. And then one thing to note here. I was going a little crazy before. This is the disc for King of Fighters, but look what's behind it. That would in fact be the disc for Final Fantasy X, which is great because I'm going to burn that shit. But yeah, so this game is great though. King of Fighters 11 is probably, I know I said, god, which one did I say was my favorite King of Fighters? Was it? Oh no, that was Capcom vs. SNK 2. So yeah, so this is my favorite King of Fighters game that I own. for PS2. My favorite King of Fighters of all time, in case you were wondering, is King of Fighters 13. So not the one that came after this, but the one that came after that one. So two additional after this one. The King of Fighters 11 is fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and it's the last one of this kind, right? They redid all the graphics after that, and then now it's in 3D again. But yeah, King of Fighters 11 is fantastic. So here's the disc in case you're wondering. But that's it. That is my entire collection. Again, let me show you the wall here. This is my entire collection of PS2 games. I also have some over here on the side that I'm going to be burning and playing on the channel. These are all of the ones that I'm going to be burning and playing on the channel. That includes Champions of Norath, Rumble Roses, XMen Legends, Blade Warriors, Final Fantasy X, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and Beautiful Joe 2. So look forward to those. If any of these, absolutely none of these, are all iToy. If any of these here you want to see me play, right, and there's more, let me show you them all here. There's a bunch more. Woo, go all the way up there. If you want me to play any of these games, let me know, right? Or if you have fond memories of any of these games, also let me know. We can talk about it. So hopefully this was cool, little field trip. I know this was a very long video, and it's probably in 2 parts. Hopefully you watched the whole thing, but if you just watched a little bit, that's fine. I appreciate you spending some time with me going down this road of memories for the PS2 era. Oh yeah, and there's also like these. These are probably going up here, way up there. So yeah, good times. Again, thank you so much. Look forward to the other videos on the channel, and I will check you guys out next time. Thank you again so much. Have a great night. F-out.